Hello and welcome back to another Understand Your Buyer video. In this video, we're looking at the notion of systems proof. So what is it? Well, focusing on how you do what you do in the form of diagrams and processes and articulations and simplifications, this can encourage buyers to place their trust in you. If you're able to provide me with a very specific diagram or an articulation of a process of how you tackle the problem that I'm facing, it implies you can solve the problem that I'm facing. It's reassuring. How does it work? Well, it works because it uses specificity and curiosity. If we look at this diagram here, which is a Dyson fan that's been dissected, and it's kind of I don't think it's actually hand-drawn, but it's supposed to look hand-drawn. It's annotated. There's about 10 to 15 different arrows and things that are pointed out there. So it has specificity, and that leads us to curiosity. We're looking at all of the mechanicals and things within the body of the fan at the bottom, thinking, blimey, that looks complicated, doesn't it? How does that work? Versus a regular fan, which is just literally a motor with a spinning blade on the end of it. So specificity drives curiosity. And on the back of that, we're thinking, well, all of this stuff exists for a reason. So every single element you're looking at in that diagram of that Dyson fan is there because it has to be there to be able to make the fan perform the task it's set to perform. And that's what reassures us that it's probably going to work. Now, when we see diagrams, simplifications, comparisons, or step-by-step processes, and particularly those that have names. So I think this is called Dyson's Air Multiplier technology. So they've given it a name. And again, the name isn't that fantastic, isn't it? Air Multiplier, but it does imply what it does. And it's much better that it has a name than it doesn't. But when we see things like that, particularly with the naming, it just reassures us that you're likely to be able to solve the problem that we're facing. You can prove it with your systems. That's why it's called systems proof. So how can you use it? Well, to make this work, there's 4 things that you need to do. The first one is to document your process, and it has to be so simple that you could recall it from memory. So we need a 2, 3, 4, 5-step process ideally, certainly not anything over 10 or 15 steps because you're not going to remember it. And if you can't recall it in conversation, it's not going to serve you very well. Second thing, like the Dyson fan diagram here, we do visualize your process. And again, it has to be so simple that you could sketch it from memory. You could do it without notes, without preparation. Draw me a very rough sketch of how you do what you do, or how your thing works. So the Dyson fan diagram, of course, would fail that because it's far too complicated. But your business model, what you're up to, is probably going to be a bit simpler than how a Dyson fan works, one would hope. The next thing is to name your process. So the name itself doesn't really matter too much, ironically, but the fact it has a name is what's important. So here we have Dyson's Air Multiplier technology. For my business, I use lots of different ones, but the CLEAR methodology is the main one that I keep coming back to. And then the final thing is talk about it in your marketing, in your messaging. Use the diagrams, use the name, use the articulations. Make sure you share this with people. We're trying to make them realize through specificity and curiosity that your business, product, or service is the one for the job. It can solve the thing. We can prove it with our systems. So that's systems proof, encouraging buyers to believe in you and trust in you by illustrating and communicating the system you use to obtain the result that you offer. Well, that's it for another Understand Your Buyer video. And if you like this kind of stuff, then you'll definitely like the book, which you can buy at understandyourbuyer.com.